FBI Director Kash Patel is in hiding today following a major embarrassment in the hunt for the killer of right-wing personality Charlie Kirk. Furthermore, unconfirmed reports are flying, and Patel is MIA in keeping the public up to date. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. As you probably know, right-wing provocateur Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University yesterday during a speaking event. In the chaos following his death, FBI Director Kash Patel issued a statement on social media claiming to have a suspect in custody. He later had to backpedal on that assertion. Here, take a look.
We're getting new information here at CBS News 24/7 Prime Time. I want to bring in Anna Schechter, senior producer at the CBS News Crime and Public Safety Unit. Anna, I know that you have some information from Kash Patel.
Yes, he just posted on X that the person of interest that FBI was questioning has now been released. So yet another twist to this confusing afternoon. We've had a lot of conflicting information over the last few hours. There was an individual arrested. Initially, that person was released. It appeared that the FBI and authorities were saying that a second person of interest was being questioned. That is our understanding, according to the information that's been made public by law enforcement. Kash Patel jumped the gun about 10 minutes prior to a law enforcement press conference about an hour ago, saying that a suspect was in custody. Now walking that back. So is there an active manhunt? On our screen, we're seeing SWAT teams out walking around. This has really been a challenging environment for law enforcement, and they don't appear to have been ready for this type of an event. Clearly, they had a small number of resources covering the event, and then in the immediate aftermath, it's unclear if they know who the suspect is. So very strange series of events in the wake of this horrific targeted, brutal attack that left Charlie Kirk dead.
So, to recap, Kash Patel initially said a suspect was in custody. He later walked that back, saying a person of interest was in custody. And that person was later released. In the meantime, both the FBI and local law enforcement have endured wide criticism, including from former FBI officials, as they failed to shut down a nearby airport where planes continued to take off following the attack. For more on that, see our other videos here on the channel. Since Patel's initial assertions and his subsequent walkback, the FBI director, who, along with his ridiculous deep space conspiracy theories, was championed by Charlie Kirk, has gone silent. Given that Patel reappropriated so many resources from FBI counterterrorism to investigate drug smuggling and illegal immigration, not to mention that he also fired a litany of officials for participating in mandated investigations into Donald Trump or for not being sufficiently loyal to Trump, the disorganization following this attack suddenly makes a lot more sense. And it is a lot more embarrassing. And now, as the FBI claims to have footage of the actual shooter in its possession, questions are already beginning to arise about the FBI's handling of this investigation and Kash Patel's reactionary role in all of it. Take a look. Now, this is a longer clip, but make sure to watch the whole thing to understand the whole situation.
The FBI director tweeted out yesterday that a suspect was in custody hours after the shooting. As a news conference was happening with conflicting information, law enforcement, we know, ultimately detained two men yesterday and then released them, saying they had no ties to the shooter. They named those two people that they cleared. Have we heard if the DOJ or FBI plans to change how communication is handled today?
Anna, the current and former FBI officials I've been talking to about this episode last night are frankly calling it an embarrassment, and they're saying this should never happen. And yes, to answer your question, the FBI does appear to have changed the way it's communicated in the sense that the FBI director is no longer freelance tweeting. He is essentially posting the official statements that appear to be carefully vetted joint statements between the FBI and the Utah Department of Public Safety, and they're sort of carefully putting out exactly what they know and trying not to go beyond that. But look, you know, Kash Patel inexplicably essentially said that they had the guy and then had to retract that and has not explained, nor has the FBI explained, how that mistake happened. That was an embarrassment in the annals of the FBI, and it's not something that ever should happen.
Evie, your thoughts on how communication has been handled by these different agencies, people being named, implied they're suspects, then cleared?
So here's the thing with the agencies. There's so much pressure now to give information, and they're trying to get ahead. And what they're dealing with, before you can put information out there and take your time, there were no other avenues for people to share information. But now with social media, you've got everybody chiming in, saying suspects, saying names. And what happens is there's a lot of confusion. You want to give information, you think you have it, and then you don't. So I do think there should be a slow down process, going back to the traditional way of, I'm not going to speak till I know for sure. I can understand how those things happen, because often, and you know what, I don't want to say anything negative about the director. He may have been told that we have them in custody, or we have the shooter in custody. And this happens where police think, hey, we've got it. And then it turns out, oh, no, we don't. And that's why often you always see a delay in press conferences, a delay in statements being put out, even though they have the information.
So, in sum, it appears the FBI is no closer to apprehending the shooter of Charlie Kirk, in large part thanks to Patel's disorganization. Worse, as his statements have made the FBI, as well as himself, look weak to the public, something Donald Trump loathes but will likely overlook in a deferential imp like Kash Patel. So I ask you, dear viewers, where in the world is Kash Patel right now? What is he doing to keep the public updated on the facts? Not innuendo, not unconfirmed reports about the ideology or motives of the shooter, and not demagoguery about avenging Kirk's death or gaslighting the world into claiming that Democrats advocate for violence or the gun policies that allowed the shooter to gain access to firearms in the first place. At the time of this report, a briefing by police has been canceled due to what are being deemed rapid developments, though we have no word yet as to what those may be. And Kash Patel is still MIA. Count on us here at Occupy Democrats to keep you up to date on the developments in this story as they break, and on all other news coming out of Washington. I'm David Reddish.